Why is Gen Z humor so weird? Let's take a look. I want to see this shit. Maybe we'll understand it.
Generation Z humor. What? What is that? Why? People find this funny? Isn't Gen Z just a movie about some zombies?
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Okay, that one's great though. Come on, that one's fire. Stinky, come on. Uh-oh, Stinky is fucking
I'm Mr.
fire.
Sweet, and today I'm gonna be giving you a guide into Generation
Better
Z.
not be coming for uh-oh Stinky, dude.
Can you not pause?
Humor.
Beat your fucking
But
ass.
before we start talking about Generation Z, we need to make sure that you don't confuse Generation Z with millennials. You see, Generation Z started in 1995 and has continued through today. Millennial humor was much more simple and could be represented by the easy-to-understand memes of iFunny, such as the Velociraptor, wherein a velociraptor scratching his chin would ponder such questions as, if two lefties had an argument, which one would be right? Or the collection of meme templates known as Rage Comics, featuring such classics as Me Gusta and a troll face.
My favorite is the one, dude, people are like actually doing meta irony, I guess, but like my favorite is when they bring back the cereal spitting one. That's my favorite, dude. When it's like he won't actually pause the video and he's like eating a fucking, you know, taking a bite out of his cereal, and then I pause the video and it goes it's so good.
Some would say it wasn't incredibly funny, but you would breathe out of your nose slightly, and that was enough for them. So how is Generation Z's humor any different?
I love that.
To understand that, you have to understand the background of Generation Z. They were born into the age of iPhones, iPods, iPads, an instant connection to the internet at nearly all times. This unprecedented accessibility, coupled with a little bit too much free time, is what led to the first influence of Generation Z's humor. When you hear a joke from a friend, it's funny that first time, and then maybe it's funny one more time when you reference it. However, imagine a bunch of people who you don't particularly care for come up and they all start telling the exact same joke.
Yeah, that joke was funny the first 400 times you said it.
This is exactly how the internet works. One person comes up with a meme, and then about 1 billion other people repost it continuously with slight variations.
There's nothing wrong with repetition, especially if it's coming at the top of the hour.
This overexposure of jokes is what leads to the concept of oversaturation, which is a concept that members of Gen Z have to deal with on a near hourly basis. Being that this humor is consumed so rapidly, its life cycle is greatly diminished, leaving few-month-old trends to feel like they came out decades ago. This phenomenon brought rise to another staple of Generation Z humor.
Are you winning, son?
Oh, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Sure, it's cool to like things when they're cool, but it's much cooler to wait until it's completely left everyone's brain just for you to bring it back in and enjoy it ironically. Similar to the concept of movies that are so bad they're good.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Where is that from? What the fuck? That's awesome.
Enjoy it because it is awful, and making fun of it and pretending to enjoy it is in its own right entertaining. And this can apply to jokes and memes and music even. This is what allows outdated memes to receive a second life under the guise of ironic enjoyment, being only now that they're so unfunny and so unpopular that they can once again become funny. Sort of.
By the way, this is awesome because it's literally something that the leftist chat needs. I mean, obviously, we're all trying to fucking understand. We're all trying to personally understand. Are you leaving? Where are you going? Okay. We're all personally trying to understand how fucking Zoomer humor works. However, leftist chat also trying to understand how humor works in general. So it's good.
Like recycling.
Not good. Delicious. Finally. Some good food.
And sometimes the fact that the joke doesn't make any sense is itself the punchline. Take, for example, the xie hao piao trend on TikTok.
Oh, dude. I mean, this shit was fire though. What the fuck? I mean, this is a banger. Like,
In July of 2020, there was a
oh my god, I'm beginning to realize that we've gone through all of these fucking Zoomer memes on this broadcast. Like, we've fucking gone through every single one of these fucking memes.
TikTok trend wherein people would use the chorus of the song Xie Hao Piao as the punchline for their joke. There wasn't inherently anything funny about the joke, and even when you translate it back to English, it didn't make the memes make sense. But the fact that nobody really knew what it meant and that it was so ill-fitting as the punchline to a joke is what inherently made it funny. It also helps that this is a song that most people admit to enjoying, at least ironically. This trend was later replaced by Baka Mitai, a song from a game called Yakuza 0 wherein your...
Dude, I love this. This is like peak parasocial. Look at this. Your friend looked mad at you, lol. Check on him later, heart. It's like, it's so well intentioned, but it's so funny. My friend is my literal, blood brother, my brother. Anyway, let's continue.
Character goes to a karaoke bar.
That's like that's when you hit like the fucking highest note of parasocialism, is when you're personally like, you should check on your literal brother. I think I, as a chatter, have analyzed the dynamic between you two better than the person you have known for 29 years.
And sings a deeply emotional Japanese song.
Color one.
No food. 3 days.
Oh, Krabby Patties, huh?
Finest under the sea.
Cringe! Gen Z is the generation of limitless options. They were never forced to just listen to the radio. They could pick from any song ever created and listen to it whenever they wanted. And because so much variety exists, uniqueness is highly valued. On the flip side of that idea, mainstream content is despised. Once popular trends like dabbing, the Harlem Shake, and Fortnite were all completely ruined by their mainstream use in...
Or the HasanAbi broadcasting experience would just reach like peak popularity. Now I fucking hate it because it's too popular.
Media, such as being featured on major news networks and being referenced by their parents. So when a song or meme that they've seen before is used by, say, a company to promote a product, it immediately becomes untouchable. And at this point, it's no longer cool to like it, even ironically. But now, even in social circles, if someone has seen a meme before, it no longer has value. You've had to seen it somehow at the point of conception, and if you're late to the party, you automatically suck. So if trends like video games and celebrities and songs and even meme templates are hated just because they're mainstream, how can any humor exist at all? Any joke or style that's been around is now considered completely invalid by Gen Z, so they're forced to constantly adapt to a new idea of what is considered funny. Take a look at this picture. This was for a brief time considered the embodiment of Gen Z humor. But why? What is the significance of the statement, "Me and the boys at 2 a.m. looking for beans"? What even is this image? Well, this is considered funny for a few reasons. For starters, it takes a phrase used frequently, "me and the boys," and then subverts the direction of the joke that you would, as the reader, suspect. It adds an odd time to be doing anything, 2 a.m., and an action, looking for beans. Beans existed for a brief time as the universal funny word. In the early 2000s, the funny word was potato, and so the use of the word and the food itself in images inherently added an air of randomness to catch the reader off guard and evoke a sense of humor. The image itself, being frightening, adds a sense of edginess, while the poor quality, in fact it's completely unrelated to the caption, creates a sense of rebellion to the standards of modern humor. Which brings us to our next topic.
Oh, dude, yeah, sad boy shit. This is what I'm talking about when I say like, oh, I'm mentally ill, I'm a Zoomer. Everyone talks about the boys, but I haven't been invited to hang out since 7th grade. I'm a senior in high school. The people that feel nothing and are numb when they cry, I felt that.
Just want to feel something. I just want to feel something.
Gen Z also has some of the highest mental health issues of any generation. They're plagued with things like depression, social anxiety, and thanks to...
Bro, millennials did this shit on Tumblr too? Yeah, where do you think the Zoomers learned it from? Literally us. We exported our worst kinds of fucking brain rot from Tumblr directly, immediately after Tumblr banned porn. It was the worst thing that could have ever happened. Once Tumblr banned porn, all those fucking little twisted freaks left Tumblr and went to Twitter and TikTok, or Vine and then TikTok. They were like looking for another outlet for that same kind of fucking insanity. And then and I use this in the Republican style grooming. They groomed the Zoomers into thinking that their way of like understanding the world was actually normal. The worst absolute thing that could have happened. Put like alienation on steroids on top of that, and you have this, okay? You have constantly fucking being on a screen and constantly looking at a fucking screen and like having all of your real world experiences be tailored around maximizing your screen time. Of course they're going to have fucking crazy mental health problems.
Growing up with access to endless information, existential dread. So how does this relate to humor? Well, these problems and fears are all directly influencing this generation's sense of comedy. Take, for example, the popular subreddit called 2MeIRL 4MeIRL. Nearly every post is about depression, suicide, loneliness, or social anxiety. And so even for the members of the generation not experiencing these problems, their humor is equally influenced by it merely due to the exposure caused by the memes being in circulation. However, some would argue that the millennial generation started the trend of depressed humor, but whether Generation Z adopted it or not, jokes about mental illness are still incredibly present throughout Gen Z humor, if not somewhat more subtle.
I'm currently back in my favorite place, the porta potty that I was at last week.
You say peacock and no one bats an eye. But you say poopcock and everyone loses their minds.
Since this generation is between the ages of 25 and 0, most of the humor is meant for its own age group. Gen Z has an inherent drive to be counter to the popular culture. But while earlier generations might have gotten mohawks, dyed their nails black, danced publicly, or worn skirts above the ankles, Generation Z has to be much more covert about their rebellion, being as they're constantly being shut down.
I matter!
Shut up, Meg, you don't matter.
Because gone are the days where a guy named Chad would come up to you, flick you in the chest, and call you a dork. Now that everyone is on the internet all...
Yeah, now they literally turn around and cyberbully you until you like fucking commit suicide or something. Like, I mean, it's dark, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what has happened to this generation, but like, that's kind of what's going on, right? There's like, the bullying has moved beyond the physical space to, as is with the case with everything, the internet.
All the time, they have thousands of people constantly telling them what they should wear, watch, eat, and that what they like is something they should be ashamed of.
Do you deserve rights based off your favorite anime?
And if they aren't told directly, others might be publicly ashamed or embarrassed, leaving the people of Gen Z to be more self-conscious, hoping that they don't one day end up on a fail compilation, Twitter page, or harassing subreddit.
How can you look like that and not be insecure? This kid needs cancer to hit him and his whole family.
Thank you for thinking of me and my family.
I love this recipe. It would be fun to show people how to make it so that they can enjoy it.
These cookies were not good. Nobody gonna mention how she's using a liquid measuring cup and not a dry ingredient cup. I made them and they sucked. Here's an actually good...
Okay, let me just say something, by the way. There's also a shift, I think, where now you got like a Revenge of the Nerds type situation where like, I think the people on the internet, because of anonymity, are able to cyberbully the same people that they would historically be bullied by. So that's the other part of this equation as well. Like you can just like be a fucking, you could be the best at being a deranged psychopathic stalker on the internet. And as a matter of fact, the less you have going on in the real world, the more you can have going on in the internet space. I know this because look at my life, look at my progression, look at what has happened to me. A lot going on the internet space, which has actually dramatically improved my real world experiences as well. My job, look at what I do for a living. But at the same time, I have, gotten remarkably worse at socializing as well. So I have regressed in many, many different ways, in ways that actually matter. That's 30% of the hate for you. I mean, yeah.
Recipe.
This constant fear of rejection has caused a generation to resort to introversion and thusly awkwardness. And most of all, they've had to resort to different ways of expressing themselves and fighting societal norms, such as distorting the audio of the punchline, which is funny because I said so. No, but actually this trend of low quality equals funny is incredibly popular purely for the reason of subverting comedic norms, such as distorting audio. So what have we learned? If it's popular, it's no longer funny. If it was popular a long time ago, it's funny again. If you can get away with saying that it's ironically funny, it's funny. If the punchline doesn't inherently make any sense, it's funny. If something's considered incredibly unfunny, it's funny. But also,
is just Dadaism again? Yes, that is precisely what it is, I think.
Remember that there's nothing that Gen Z likes more than changing and hating things. So this video is likely to become obsolete within a couple of weeks. But until then, here's your guide to Generation Z's humor. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, don't stop party rocking, or you might make me spill my beans all over the place. Comically large spoon, my friends.
I mean, that's actually hilarious because, like, yes, this video was cut in August 20th or August 19th of 2020, and every single, like, meme that was popping at the time that he identified are now no longer, like, if you posted anything like that, people would be like, that sucks. Dada has created the conditions for socialist communication. Don't liken this with that. I mean, I don't know what this would be, but it's kind of in the same, it has the same fundamentals of distortion.
Have a good one.
But I think what is like King Botch was never funny. Yeah. Well, the thing I was going to say is that now, like, I feel like the fucking cereal spoon guy is funny again. You see what I'm saying? I posted a TikTok where part of it was making mac and cheese, and I got 26 comments about how I used the wrong type of measuring cups, dry or wet. They were so unnecessarily mean, I legit cried over it. Yes, the internet is a brutal place, and it's not for everyone to fucking post on. Tumblr girlies were doing praxis IRL and posting about it. The internet peaked when girls on Tumblr used to post hauls of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise they shoplifted. I used to dive so deep into that community. Dude, Tumblr, as is the case with like all social media platforms, had some of the best fucking jokes too. And some of the fucking worst. Just remember, like a lot of the fucking Twitter memes that you see are recirculated Tumblr memes, okay? Like peak Tumblr posts. And also, a lot of TikTok is recirculated Twitter memes. So that content cycle doesn't stop. I was never on Tumblr, but there was some really funny fucking things on Tumblr that still to this day get posted. I find that a lot of the humor on Twitter that I find funny at this point is so esoteric that it only makes sense to other people who follow the same folks on Twitter. The cereal spoon thing is an example of that, I think. You are reactionary and counter-revolutionary. Gen Z humor is at the forefront of the revolution. Yeah, totally. Best part of my life was being Tumblr famous at 14. My jokes still recirculate to this day, except people don't know it was me. Yeah. Zoomers are into incomprehensible shit posts now.
My life be like, oh my God.
My name is Taco Bell.
I don't get it. I still get emails about Tumblr about new bots following me. Oh, the camera went in and out. Yeah, it happens from time to time. I was almost a Tumblr radfem if it wasn't for you in chat. I mean, a lot of that Tumblr radfem shit was, I think, dramatically it reignited it within like the Minecraft stan community, and then that kind of went away too. Like I feel like the Minecraft stan community grew up a little bit, but during like the George Floyd protests, during like the quarantines, like a lot of the Minecraft stan community was being fucking crazy, right? They were being ridiculous. Like they would yell at their content creators like a lot, and I would criticize that regularly. And you know, in stan culture, and some of them grew up and they no longer are doing that sort of stuff. I don't know what else happened to them. I wonder if they're like still politically active. Probably not now that Joe Brandon is president. But I was a stan Twitter radfan back in like 2020, but then I came here. Yeah, I mean, I try to. I'm an extreme centrist in that respect, where I do try to manage the radfem attitudes that people have on the left as well. Tumblr had so many problems, but it low-key wouldn't be the same person without it. I learned about BLM in 2014 because of it. As a white kid in Canada, I learned so much about trans stuff, and I'm trans now. Lol. There you go.